The watch you're wearing today, I've never seen it out in the wild. Otherwise, I've seen it on the internet a lot. When you brought it on to the first time for our virtual meetings, I was absolutely blown away. Please take it away. Introduce your timepiece.
Yeah, thanks. So it's a brand that I'm particularly passionate about. I discovered the brand, gosh, I think 2008, 2009 when they had just started. I'm probably getting my dates wrong. And I hated them. I didn't think they were very nice at all. It didn't do anything for me. But the guy who started it was such a free spirit and a different thinker. And at the time, there was nobody doing anything like he did. And I think that was it. Like I misunderstood him at the beginning. But it always kind of stuck with me as such an interesting brand. And so the guy's name, for those who don't know, it's a guy named Max Busser, and the company's called MB&F. And MB&F has kind of two main lines. They have the horological machine line and the legacy machine line. And the horological machine line are really like kinetic art. They're really wild. They're out there. He takes inspiration from things like a bulldog or a spaceship or a race car or kind of whatever in his adolescent mind almost kind of just sees things and converts it to a watch. And they're really interesting. They're borderline unwearable, but they're amazing. And the legacy machine line is something a little more practical. They're actually round. They're a wearable size. They're not overly huge, some of them. And so that was kind of the niche where I found I could strike a balance between a watch I could actually wear and sort of the brand that I actually loved and found so much that I could relate and identify with. So this watch, I don't know if my camera is going to pick it up, but so it's an LM101. And this one particular one's in palladium, which was very, very serendipitous. So it has sort of this kind of seafoam green dial.
Let's see the back as well.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Very intrinsic. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I really, really, really wanted an LM101 because it's the smallest watch they make, and I don't have big wrists, so everything they make is 44 mils, and the LM101 is 40. So I really, really like that. I always wanted one. It just so happened that there was something happened in my life. I like to buy watches that mark occasions. Mm-hmm. So like the Breguet was kind of stems from a trip that Gina and I took. One of the other watches I picked up recently is a Lange & Son 1815 chronograph. I got that for our 15th wedding anniversary. We did a trip to Paris and that kind of stuff. So a lot of my watches have meaning, and this was to mark an event in my professional life. And so I knew I wanted to get one. I didn't know which one. There were a few different. This was before the LM101 and MB&F and the whole indie trend kind of went crazy. So you could actually still buy them. And so I actually gave there's two MB&F dealers in North America a call. So I called the one at the time anyway, I called the one in California, and they wouldn't give me the time of day. They said, oh, the only way to buy from us is to come in, and they wouldn't give me any information over the phone or anything like that. I called Cellini in New York, and they were much better. And I spoke to a salesman there, and he was actually pretty helpful, and he gave me some options. And so at the time it came in rose gold, white gold, and platinum. Those were the three options. And I really liked the white gold version, but I wasn't sure. And he said, oh, I can give you a deal on the platinum one, maybe, blah, 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 blah. And just how happened like that week, I saw, I think on Monochrome or something like that, there was a palladium version that was being released. And this is really something special because unlike the white gold and rose gold version, it was limited to 18 pieces. The platinum was 33, I think, or 31. This was 18.
1/8?
Yes, 1/8.
Okay.
They made 18 of them. And I thought it was interesting. Part of me, because I'm a bit of a cheap guy, thought it was a deal because it was priced the same as the rose gold and white gold versions, but palladium is more expensive than platinum, and it's just as difficult to work on as platinum. Plus, it was super limited, and it seemed like this is the no-brainer one to get. And I kind of hemmed and hawed for about 5 minutes, and I said, okay, let's do it. And it was a scary moment. And it was hard to get, frankly, because originally I wanted to go down and pick it up in person and go through that experience of going to the boutique and, seeing them and to take you out for lunch, all the kind of stuff with it. But at the time, you couldn't travel anymore. So it just ended up having to wait and kind of just ship it. And even getting it took almost close to a year, actually, to finally actually get the watch because it takes so long to produce. So MB&F, and I could be wrong here, only produces about 200 total watches a year. 200 to 300. I think they used to be almost 300, and then they tapered down their production intentionally. So they're pretty uncommon, and I'm really lucky. What's interesting about it is that of the 18, I probably know virtually, not in the real world, but through Instagram and that kind of stuff, I think 15 of the other Palladium owners. So there's sort of a little sub community of us, and there's like a few of them that have come up for sale. So I don't know who those 3 are, but the rest I kind of know, and we've all kind of met on Instagram, and there's sort of our own little gang of it.
It's called it's called a support group.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And you know, when we're going to therapies, when we're trying to get better, these are enablers. These are people that make you want to continue. Like, oh, you'd be stupid not to buy it. And when are we getting our next one? And I have that group of friends. I understand they're enablers and they know who they are. And I enable people, and we just have that cycle. So I got to ask you, Gina, then how early on did you have to sit down with this guy and say, there's something called a budget and there's something called life and other expenses? So does he have a free pass? I trust you. Just go spend as you need to spend, or do we discuss major purchases?
I'm like, oh yeah, you should get it then. I mean, unless I don't like the watch, like that's why we had the discussion about the original Rolex, because it's like, I don't like it, I don't really want you getting it. But if I like it, then I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. How much does it cost? And we kind of work it out. But I'm just as bad. So at least I don't have to worry about hiding anything. If more than anything, I'm like, you should buy it. Oh, I think it'll go up in value. Oh, you should buy it. So I'm just as bad.
Most married couples I know, it's only one of 2 routes. It's either forgiveness or permission, you know, where like, please, 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 is it okay if I buy this, you can buy that, or we had a good year, come on, and they try to negotiate that, or they just go and buy it. They hide the box under the bed, they hide the credit card statement, and they're like, why is there 20,000 missing from our account? I don't know. I had to pay the mortgage maybe and some tax bills. I'm not sure. You know what? I bought that watch. I told you. I know I told you. Don't you remember that $20,000 watch I told you like 3 months ago? Like, I've heard those kind of conversations. Paul, you married an enabler. Wow, this is like the unicorn that I've heard of this, but I've never seen it in marriage form. This is fantastic.
They exist.
Wonderful. I'm so pleased. So you're enjoying life with the watch. How often does it go on the wrist, would you say, in a typical month? Is there such a thing as a typical month?
I wear it every Friday. It's my Friday watch, and when I'm on podcasts with special people like you. So it's a once a week thing. Usually through the weekend I'll wear it. The problem is I tend to I cook a lot and I have an aquarium, so my hands tend to be wet a lot of the time, and it's not a great watch for that. You know, it does have that one fatal flaw. So that's kind of the issue with it is from a practical point of view for me and my lifestyle. I you know, that's a problem with any watch on a strap, which doesn't stop me because most of my watches are on straps.
Mine as well.
Once a week thing. Yeah. It's too special not to wear. And to me, I'm not that guy who buys a watch and then never, you know, you have those guys who buy and they put it in the safe and don't wear it. That's not me. I mean, I've got 5 watches on my desk right now that I'm kind of cycling through. So I have always 6 watches kind of in my arm's length. So it gets quite a bit of wrist time.